Hello?
Hello.
Hello, Abel, it's
Yes.
Ingram.
How are you, Ingram?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing dandy.
What's been
New
going on?
York.
You're in New
I'm
York?
in New York. We just had a press conference here.
How did the press conference go?
Wonderful.
And
Everything went well.
I know you guys have got Wade now, next up.
Yes, that's our mandatory.
And I know, I think I've been quite critical of Wade, but I notice you're mandatory. You need to get him out the way.
Well, just like with Fury and in the IBF when he got stripped, Gennady worked too hard to get his title, and he doesn't want to be stripped. He wants to live up to his obligations by being the IBF champion.
Of course, I've cracked a joke almost Wade in too deep.
Well, he is 18-0. He's a young champion. We were there at one time when Gennady won title. He was 18 or 17-0. So he's the next one in line.
What sort of problems do you think Wade's gonna give you guys, if any?
You know, because there's not that much video on him, because there's not that much history on him, we don't know that much about him, but he is 18-0 with 12 knockouts. He had a great amateur career. Who knows if he belongs on this level? We won't know until fight night.
Okay, I know that you've now, the fight has been, I think, confirmed about Barrera, Sullivan Barrera and Andre Ward. Am I correct with that?
No, you're correct. That happens the 26th of March.
Do you see this fight as a scouting mission for a potential Andre Ward-Gennady Golovkin fight in the future?
No, actually, no. I don't see it as that. I see it as a barometer for Ward and Kovalev. I think that's what they're hoping that it is. He's fighting a Barrera that's a very big light heavyweight. He's fighting a Barrera that's coming off of 6 knockouts with me. He's fighting a Barrera who's #1 in the world in the IBF. So he's fighting a young man that's very hungry. He's only had 17 fights, but I think that Ward moving up a division, we'll see how he handles that. And Ward being inactive for as long as he has, we'll see how he handles that. But I don't think that the Golovkin fight is anything that they had in mind when they were proposing this or negotiating this. It's more, I think, a Ward-Kovalev fight.
How do you see a Barrera-Ward fight going in your mind at the moment? Do you think that is it a case of Ward's inactivity and moving up in weight versus Barrera's youth and, I don't know, extra weight, poundage? Is it like that? How do you see it?
You know, because of Barrera's size and weight, I think that that compounded by the fact that Ward hasn't fought, and Ward's level of opposition has been mediocre, to say at best.
Yep.
That I think that gives us a lot of pluses and very few minuses. We have nothing to lose. Now, do I wish that this fight had been when Barrera had 25 fights? Of course. But then again, if we were fighting the Ward that fought 5 years ago when he was winning a Super 6, it would have been a lot more difficult than it is now. I think that the inactivity gives us a little better opportunity to take that mantle of undefeated fighter from him.
Do you see this? Do you see this as a fight that is it a very winnable fight for you guys, or is it a fight that you're up against it?
No, I think it's a fight that we're in a win-win situation.
Right.
We're fighting supposedly the best fighter, one of the best fighters in the world, who won the Super 6, a fighter that I think from things beyond his control, as he puts it, hasn't been active. But the only thing that I see as a minus for us is we're fighting in the Oracle Arena in Oakland. You know, he's going to have whatever fans he has there are going to be on his side, and my guy has never been in that situation. So, but physically, technically, mentally, I think that we're in for a good fight.
Wow. I want to pick your brain about something because, and the thing is, it's Charles Martin. Been trying to contact Mr. Martin. He gave me his number, but for some reason it's not going through since he's become IBF champion, which I can understand. He's a very busy man at the moment. But you saw him up close and personal, and as you know, Anthony Joshua is now fighting for his belt. Now, I've called this as being a fight too soon for Anthony Joshua, and Charles Martin is, I think he's been underestimated. More to the fact, I looked to his trainer, who seems to be pretty knowledgeable in the corner. I was listening to him in the corner, giving instructions to Charles Martin, and he was very constructive, very precise, knew what he was talking about, round by round by round. Give us some more insight, because you've seen this guy up close.
Well, yes, he does have very good people working with him.
Right.
Charles Martin does. But I think it's a fight too soon for both of the guys.
Okay.
I just think that Charles Martin just winning the IBF title should be, he's already done the mandatory because of Glaskov. That's done. So I would have, if I was on that side, I would have waited a couple fights, fought him a couple times, and got him used to being champion.
Right.
The difference, I think, in this fight, because I look at him as both about the same, is the amateur experience on Joshua's side.
Right.
I think that gives him a lot of kudos and a lot of pluses because of that amateur experience, because of being in the Olympics, because of all the big stage fights that he's had. So I think that right there, if it sways anything, it would be towards Anthony Joshua because of that.
Right.
But I would have waited, like I said, for both guys, and even more for Martin. But then again, we all do. And we all think differently in this business. That's what makes this business so interesting, that everybody's got the right idea on what they want to do with their charge. And I commend them for that. They feel that they can win. If a Charles Martin does beat Anthony Joshua, I think that Charles Martin becomes a real player. The same way for Anthony Joshua.
So what does Charles Martin do well, from what you see?
He's, for a big dude, he handles his distance quite well. He adjusts very well. He has a little pop in his left hand. I at times don't like to see him waiting so much, but he handles his size very well. He's a big guy with decent legs, not a big mover, but decent legs, and adjusts his distance very well. He's going to have to do that against Joshua, because Joshua will be about the same size.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be an interesting fight at the beginning to see who gives in first. If Martin maintains his cool and keeps his distance, then I think he does well. If Joshua is able to press him and get him out of his game, I think Joshua wins.
What about the counter-punching ability of Martin?
Pardon me?
The counter-punching ability of Martin. The left hand.
The counter-punching ability is difficult to gauge because he's never really fought anybody at the level of Joshua.
Right.
He's had 22 or 23 fights, but they've never really been at this level. And I'm not saying because it's a world title. I'm talking about the experience, the amateur experience of a Joshua, the boxing ability of a Joshua. He's never really fought a guy like that. So can Joshua take him out of his game plan? Can Joshua negate the counter-punching ability? That's something that I think goes in Joshua's favor again. I do believe.
What about his trainer, Charles Martin's trainer? Tell me a bit more about him, because like I said before, he's somebody I think that could be a key in this fight for Charles Martin.
Well, he's actually got two coaches in the gym. He's got Henry Tillman, who was a gold medalist in 1984 Olympics for the U.S. as a heavyweight.
Yes, who beat Mike Tyson in the amateurs.
Yes, he did. And he had a decent career as a pro, not an illustrious career, but he had a good career. Yep. And then he's got a man named Jamal. I don't particularly know his last name.
Yes.
But Jamal seems to be very knowledgeable. He's worked with a lot of bigger name fighters. Not always in the forefront. Sometimes in the background.
Yes.
But he's knowledgeable. He's you got to understand that these guys brought Charles Martin from scratch.
Right.
He was a basketball player or some kind of sports other than boxing. He had very limited amateur experience.
Yes.
And in the Michael King program down in Los Angeles, in the Rock Gym, they started him there. He started in that program. So everything that he's done, Charles Martin, that is, has been because of these two guys. So They're very good coaches. They seem to be in tune with what Charles is doing. They seem to have Charles' ear. So if he follows instructions, it could be for a decent fight.
Wow. Question: Julius Jackson, what's happened to him?
I just talked to Julius and his dad several weeks ago.
Yes.
We're trying to determine a direction for him. Julius had his dad talk to me about helping him and taking over, working with him so that they can come to camp so that they can evolve as coaches too, not only Julian but his brother.
Yes.
So if Julius comes to camp, we're going to work with him in a little different methods, because in the past he's been a sparring partner for Gennady, so I never really pushed him to do any of the things that we do. But since his intent is to get better, and his father's willing to do that with him, then we're going to push him in a different direction.
That's very positive to hear. Billy Joe Saunders.
Pardon me?
That's very great to hear.
Billy Joe Saunders. From what I understand at this press conference, put out a tweet after we announced the fight with Wade, saying that he would fight Golovkin. But yet, when it was proposed to him and he was offered a lot of money, he didn't want it. So I don't understand that one.
Okay. Chris Eubank Jr., Nick Blackwell.
Chris Eubank, I think, still has some work to do to get to the level of being considered. I think that he's talented enough that he will get there.
Yes.
When he gets there, I don't know. But he will be considered in the future. But at this point, I don't think he's quite there yet.
Okay. One fight that I've got to mention before I despair. Amir Khan versus Canelo.
Unlike a lot of people, I don't see that fight as such a mismatch, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
29 years ago, Roberto Duran moved up 12 pounds or 2 divisions to fight Ray Leonard. Ray Leonard at the time was the darling. Ray Leonard was the gold medalist. Ray Leonard was everything. And Roberto Duran came to Montreal, Canada, and defeated him. Then Roberto Duran moves up another 2 divisions, moves up 13 pounds to fight Marvin Hagler, and loses a close to 15-round decision. So what I'm saying is that maybe the weight that Khan puts on will be a little better for his chin. He's got beautiful hand speed. He's got great footwork. The extra weight may give him a little more resistance. And the other guy's going to be 25 pounds heavier, which means he's going to be slower. So if he can maintain his focus, if Virgil can keep him in the frame of mind of doing the job, instead of getting brave and ballsy like he did with Maidana for a second there, I think he has a great chance.
What about the fact that when Canelo starts putting pressure on Khan, he's never been the greatest at dealing with pressure when put against the ropes. How does Khan deal with this factor?
He just has to make sure that he doesn't reach out for Canelo. He's got to keep his hands within himself and make sure that his legs are moving and make sure that he's anticipating the slow-footed, sluggish Canelo at that weight.
Right.
Compared to Khan, I should say. I say sluggish and slow-footed compared to Khan. Compared to most of the guys, maybe he's not slow-footed because they're just as slow as he is. But Khan just happens to be exceptional on his feet and has great hands.
So when you move up in weight, how do you ensure that you're moving up in weight, that you don't end up being too bulky so you lose your weight, or you just blow it with a lot of water and so therefore you don't maintain that strength?
I think for Khan, he's going to be fighting at the weight that he's naturally at.
Right.
I personally think that he kills himself to get down in weight.
Right.
So if he's fighting at the weight and is able to eat, not have to diet, and do all the hard work that they want him to do in the gym, I think that he's going to be comfortable. Where the other guy is killing himself to get down to 55, and then he's going to put on 25 pounds of water or whatever you want to call it, and he's going to be slow. So to me, Khan has a great opportunity if he maintains his focus and listens to upset Canelo. But it's a 12-round fight. He just cannot allow himself to get brave.
What about this fight coming up between Thurman and Porter?
Between who and who?
Keith Thurman. Sean Porter.
Keith Thurman. Well, Keith Thurman to me is not completely proven himself to me.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it matters, I'm sure, to him that he proves himself to me, but has proven himself as far as being what he is. In other words, sometimes he's a boxer, sometimes he's a puncher, sometimes he's a body puncher, sometimes he's a runner. Sometimes, you just don't know about Keith Thurman, and he tries to make it sound like he's got a lot of different ways to fight. Well, Porter's going to be on him.
Yep.
Porter shouldn't win this fight. Should not. Thurman should win it, but Thurman is still not. I'm not completely sold on Thurman, even though he's a big talent. I'm just not completely sold on him.
My thing with Thurman is I've noticed since he had that shoulder injury and he came back, he's not been the same fighter. He's dropped people but not finished them off. 1, 2. When he can't get you out of there in the first couple of rounds, he gets onto the back foot and starts going onto the back foot. But he can't seem to fight off the ropes. When his back's against the ropes and you're on his chest, Thurman doesn't know what to do. He gets very uncomfortable. And I think Porter, that's the opportunity for Porter.
Then maybe I'm not the only one then. I'm not the only one that noticed that. If you've noticed that too, maybe that is actually a shoulder injury. I don't know. I haven't really thought about that, but you could be right.
Yeah, I've been watching Thurman for a while, and he's not looked the same explosive fighter since that shoulder injury. And whether it be the fight he had against Bundu or the fight he had against Collazo, and I've heard rumours of a lack of dedication at the gym, and I've heard different sort of rumours that maybe the whole fame is going to the head. Now, I don't know how true those things are, but if those things add up, and from what I saw the performance against Collazo, I don't know. He doesn't seem the same fighter to me. I don't know what it is.
Well, I'm sure Porter's style will give us an indication and will give us a view into what is left or what is there for Thurman, if he is who we thought he was.
Yep.
Because Porter's going to be on him. Porter's going to be on him from the first bell.
Exactly.
But Keith can punch, so he's shown in previous fights that he can whack. So charging of Porter may be exactly what he wants.
Let me throw something at you here. I know you say Keith can punch, and we've seen him drop guys, no doubt about that. Collazo was dropped how many times by Amir Khan? But yet Thurman couldn't move him once. Let's work that one out. Yeah,
well, that same Collazo was the first one to give my man Williams his first loss too.
Okay.
So Collazo sometimes has those on and off nights. When he does, he could be trouble for everybody, for anybody.
Interesting. Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Wasn't he the first one to give Paul Williams the first loss?
Collazo? Was it?
Yeah. Wasn't it Collazo that gave him his first loss?
I didn't think it was. I thought it was. Was it? I thought it was Sergio Martinez.
No. It was Collazo.
Really?
Southpaw Collazo.
Okay. Didn't know that.
So he can fight. It's just he has off nights. He's just unpredictable.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting thoughts. But I'm swinging with Porter. I'm going with Porter for this one. I think Porter keep Thurman on the ropes, traps him on the ropes at some point, because I think Thurman's going to get onto the back foot, and that's where Porter's going to get him. I think if you're gonna get Porter, I think you've got to catch him throwing straight shots rather than throwing these big wide winging shots. Very true. But has Thurman showed that he can do that lately? No, I've not seen him show through. And his jab is not a great jab. He's got a flicking jab. So I'll have to. Everybody told him he's a big puncher. Everybody is so intent on doing a Golovkin all the time that sometimes you just have to do what you do best. And when he was before the shoulder injury, let's just say, he was doing what he did best. Exactly. And he was very, very good. But after that shoulder injury, he's not been the same fighter. No. More. I think he's more. What's the word I want to use? He's more tentative. I can't hear you. Sorry, I can't hear you. Sorry. He's more tentative.
He's more tentative. Like he just doesn't want to expose himself.
Does that happen to a fighter if they've been dropped or hurt or knocked out in sparring? Can that happen?
That that happens when your inactivity or your level of opposition is not where it should be. Once you meet somebody that's a little better and you get caught with a shot, just like who's the one that dropped into the body?
Or Collazo was dropped into the body.
Collazo dropped into the body. Okay, so same thing with Kovalev. Let's just say Kovalev likes to keep everybody on the outside. Is there a reason for that? I don't know. But is there a reason for Thurman now boxing and being that outside fighter that he wasn't before?
It's a good question. But as I said, I that's why I give Porter a big chance in this fight. Oh, finally, before I go, your thoughts, Frampton Quigg.
Say it again.
Frampton and Quigg. Carl Frampton, Scott Quigg.
You know, I have to be honest with you. I really don't know much about those boys. I haven't really been watching that division that much.
Okay.
Not because they're English. It's just that division just is not one that's on my radar. So.
Okay.
So I haven't really been watching.
Okay. Well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Abel Sanchez, as always, thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV.
Ingram, thank you for calling me, and I'm glad to talk to you, and call me again anytime you want.
I appreciate that, Abel.